If you have fresh herbs growing around your house all summer, but never actually get around to saving them for winter, this is your sign to start drying them. Living in New England, I have plenty of herbs during the summer, but once winter hits, everything changes, and there's something really special about having your own dried, unsprayed herbs on hand when it's freezing outside, especially for making a warm, aromatic cup of tea. I've been wanting to get better about preserving some of the herbs that grow around our house, and tea is probably my favorite way to use them. Some of my favorites to dry are black currant leaves, raspberry leaves, and mint. They're so simple, but when you dry them yourself and then open a jar in the middle of winter, the aroma is amazing. It just feels like you saved a little piece of summer. But the problem is actually drying them. I've tried the whole just put them somewhere and let them dry approach, and it's not always very practical. You need good airflow. You want to keep the herbs clean. And if you have a lot of them, you suddenly have herbs taking over every flat surface in your house. So I recently came across this simple herb drying rack, and I thought this might actually solve my problem. So it's basically a hanging mesh dryer with 4 layers, and it gives you a dedicated place to spread everything out instead of trying to find random trays and countertops around the house. The mesh is breathable, which is important because you want air circulating around the leaves while they dry, and each level has its own zippered opening, so you can get in and out without having to take the whole thing down. For something like mint or raspberry leaves, I'll start by giving everything a good look over and removing anything that I don't want to dry. Then I spread the leaves out in a single layer. And I'm not trying to make this complicated. That's actually what I like about drying herbs at home. There's no fancy equipment or complicated process involved. You just want clean herbs, good airflow, and patience. And depending on what you're drying and the conditions in your home, the drying time can vary. So I always make sure the herbs are completely dry before storing them. One feature I really like about this particular rack is that you can actually see what's happening inside. The mesh lets air move through all the layers, and the zippered covers help keep things protected from dust or anything else floating around. And because it hangs vertically, it takes up very little floor or counter space. That's probably the biggest advantage for me. Once the herbs are completely dry, I can store them away and have my own little supply already for winter. Then when it's 15 degrees outside and everything is gray and frozen, I can make a cup of tea using herbs that I picked and dried during the summer. And there's something about that I really love. It's not necessary about saving money or having the perfect setup. It's more about knowing where your herbs came from, preserving something that would otherwise be gone for the season, and making something simple feel a little more special. And if you already have herbs growing in your garden, but every year you tell yourself, I really should dry some of these, this might be the year to actually do it. I'm definitely going to be trying this with more herbs and flowers throughout the season, because honestly, I'd much rather spend a little time preserving summer now than wish I had done it when winter comes around.